Ooh, good thing I got a motor mount. This one's broke. Look at this. That's not supposed to be like that.
Discovery number one.
Discovery number one. Hey, this is Davin with Hagerty, our red line rebuild updates. We are on our 93 Jeep 4-liter engine build. And today we're going to completely tear this down. So with that, it's on the stand. We got our tools laid out, nice and organized, which won't last very long. We have a clean workbench over there to put all our parts on, which also won't last very long. And I guess with that, let the discovery begin, because guess what? This is the first time I've torn into one of these. It'll be fun. Well, and there you have it. Just like tearing other things down, every so often you get into a bolt that breaks. In this case, the stud broke off about a 1/4 inch below the surface, thereabouts. And the good news is, though, I don't have to fix this time, because the way we're gonna do this build, like we mentioned, we're gonna get as many parts as possible through Rock Auto. One of the things that they have in hand are refurbished cylinder heads for this 4-liter. So one is already en route, and I won't have to mess with that at all. Okay, so here's my rockauto.com tip of the day. Before you pull all your plug wires off, label which one's number one. So in this case, our number one plug is out front, and then it goes 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So number one. Now on the cap, label which one of these is number one wire. Here's number one here. Okay? Now, that's so you can go through and easily go through and pull off all your wires and change the wires for a tune-up, let's say. Now, if you're going the next step where you're actually gonna pull the distributor, or for some reason, right? I would also make sure that your crankshaft's at top dead center, and when you pull the cap, the rotor should be pointing in the direction of your number one plug. Ooh, that's nice that it came out good. So does that really, did they really just spin that on? Because there's a internal hex there. We have all ran into the scenario that, how do I take this off because I don't have the right tool for it, right? So here's my situation right now. I have what appears, this spins off, there's an internal hex, call it an Allen wrench. I do not have an Allen wrench the size of that. However, it's a hex. Something else looks like a hex. A bolt. A bolt looks like a hex. There you go. That'll drive in there, right? Double nut it. You could weld it if you had to. I guess what my point is, you can always make your own tool. And, or you can run out and go get one. But sometimes when it's, let's say 1:30 in the morning, you need to make your own tool because the store is just flat out not open. Do what you have to do. Not real convenient. There we go. Over here. Look at that. We did it without breaking it. Well, here we are. You can see we're down to our short block. We need to take the timing chain and all that off and the oil pan and get the pistons out and the crankshaft. But one thing I'm noticing here when I spin this by hand, if you listen real close, which probably won't be here over the heater, but I can hear the timing chain making noise. So that'll be something we'll have to look at real close and address, obviously. And otherwise, things are just greasy and grimy so far. Doesn't look horribly wore, but it's pretty interesting nonetheless. So, time for the oil pan. Get this flipped over. Expecting to see a timing chain tensioner that's shot, or the timing chain in general is just shot. Should be one there, but definitely noisy chain. Well, you can see we have the motor completely tore down. We're down to a couple freeze plugs and some oil gallery plugs, and we'll deal with that as we go to clean things up in the parts washer. But I wanted to give you a kind of a basic assessment of where we're at right now as far as condition of the motor. We got 150,000 miles on this. The harmonic balancer is starting to give away. As you can see, it's starting to dry rot here, crack. What happens is as that cracks and loosens, then it's going to start to vibrate more, and then basically wipe the bearings out at the end of the day if it gets that bad. Main bearings actually look fantastic. They almost look brand new. So that's a good sign. And the other side is equally as good. On the rods, now on the rod side of it, not the cap side, this is what our wear looks like. It's fairly typical, but it is starting to get through the main or the beginning part of the bearing and wearing into the brass, I guess, if you will, or whatever the gold coloring is. Basically, I'm gonna replace these, but it tells me that my crankshaft probably isn't too bad, so I may or may not need to have that ground. It feels really nice. Camshaft looks okay, but given the fact that my lifters are starting to mushroom just a little bit on this edge, that tells me things are starting to wear here and kind of get pushed out. But with that, I'm gonna get my hands washed. You need to get out in the shop, get your work done, because I know you have a project out there as well as I. So, see ya.